Welcome to Jones In for Sports. Don't forget to like and share. If I find you posting stir links and comments, I've cut you, I mean block.
Gotta have Chucky on there to start the show.
Absolutely.
But welcome to another episode of the Jones In Podcast, brought to you by Jones for Sports. We make sports better. I am your host, Jones, and today we have three very special guests, a part of the Jones for Sports family, our partners, the Boston Boys Sports. We got all three today, and you see what they're rocking. You see all their backgrounds. It's all Boston, so that's what we're talking today. But before we get into that, make sure you all hit that like, subscribe, comment as we go during the show. Have fun. Talk some smack if you want to get at the fellas, because they're going to talk their smack, so you might as well get them while they right now. Just why not? But we're going to have a lot of fun with this, and I definitely want to hear your thoughts on the Boston series. But before we get into that as well, just want to shout out to my partners, Betting Hero and the Circuit Fantasy Football. Big things coming. If you guys are into the sports betting, obviously basketball just ended, but baseball's still going, hockey's still going. So if you guys want to get into some sports betting, please check my DMs, check my link in the bios for the links to get into the sports betting, and just keep an eye out for the fantasy football coming out. It's big. We got something big set up for the future, so make sure y'all look out for that. But my guys, Boston boys. Oh, I know you two guys, Eli and Steve, are in Boston. Are you also in Boston?
Hey, Roger that, from Boston too.
Awesome. I love that. Awesome. All right, so let's get into it. Let's get right into it.
Perfect.
Boston is the champions of the world. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, the two most deserving for me watching that, obviously because they were a part of the losing series. So I was definitely happy to see them win the chip. But I want to hear from you guys. Eli, starting with you. How are you feeling right now, a few days removed from winning the chip?
I mean, it's on top of the world, right? This is what you watch all year for, is for your team to win the title. And, you know, it feels good to be king, like we are here in Boston, like we have been for 13 championships in the last 24 years. But I couldn't be more happy. I think on our podcast, we talked about it. Drew Holiday is one of those guys who we were all super thrilled to see it. A guy who was thrown away in Milwaukee for Dame, and then they cut bait with him. And, you know, he brought the championship DNA and experience to this Boston team. And I think it was sorely needed. I thought that was a huge pickup. Love seeing Drew in green, and for the foreseeable future, for hopefully many more titles to come.
Absolutely. And your point about Drew, I was big on Milwaukee going into the season before the trade was made for Drew and Porzingis. But yeah, I was big on Milwaukee because of Dame. I'm a big Dame fan. I really wanted to see him try to go get a ring. But when Boston made that trade right after, it was like a day or two after, I was like, yeah. Boston just stole it. Like, they just stole the ring from underneath Milwaukee's feet. So that was a really big trade because of Drew, a champion already. You see what he did in Milwaukee, and he comes over to bring that same grit and defensive smartness that he has, that he brings to the team, the leadership that he brings to the team. You saw it throughout the finals. So I absolutely agree with you, Eli. Drew was a major part, and he could have honestly won Finals MVP.
Yeah, we actually did talk about that. Stevie, what was that? You had a real interesting stat before Game 4, right?
Yeah, games 1, 2, and 3, he didn't have a single turnover. I mean, the way he was playing, just how clean it was great.
Yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. You got to play like that, especially in these moments. So, Stevie, what are your thoughts on your team winning the championship after so long, since 2008?
I know. The same as Eli. I mean, just excitement. It was great to watch. You know, I sit there. I woke up my kid so he could see it at the end of the game, because obviously it was late. He had already been sleeping. So it's just one of those moments, man. It's one of those moments. I mean, like Eli said, we've had the opportunity to celebrate 13 titles now in 24 years. So not that I don't feel like you get numb to it. I think every single one is different. So every single one just feels different and hits different. So just, yeah, excitement, still fun. Like he said, good to see Drew do what he did. Good to see Al get his. Good to see Jason and Jalen. I feel like that's just a huge weight off their back. I feel like that's something that's been dangling right there, and they finally got to it. So I think that's going to be huge in their development and growth. So yeah, excitement and just all that stuff bottled into it,
Can I
Man,
interject one point too?
absolutely. Go ahead.
Since 2000, 26% of players who have signed in Boston with a major sports team have won a title. So keep on coming to Boston.
Hey, it's not the wrong move. It's not the wrong move. Based off of what you just said, and how many rings you guys got in the last 24 years?
13 since 2000.
It's ridiculous,
Idletown,
man.
Idletown.
It's ridiculous, man. What's in the water over there? Like, come on, man.
Championship DNA.
Some of that over here in New York. Come on. We need some of that over here.
Hey, listen, if Jalen Brunson don't go down, it might be a different story.
Yeah.
That's
And Julius Randle, for that matter.
Let's not get into the Knicks. You see, I'm covering them right now. The beard. How are you feeling? A few days removed from winning.
Forward for me. I remember the 08 run. So to see us come back and win and show that Brown and Tatum could actually do it with the added pieces, Brad Stevens becoming a GM, MVP of the team in my eyes. I said it to both of them. That KP getting Holiday in the tree, it was the right time. Horford getting a ring, it was great to see.
Yes.
The rumor is everybody's coming back next year.
Yep.
So D. White side and all of them coming back. We're in for another one, man.
You definitely are. You definitely are. Absolutely. So my next question for you guys, and we'll go from where we just left off. What was the key to, in your own opinion, what was the key to the Celtics winning? Like, what stood out was like, you know what? I think that was what that helped us get over the hump. The beard, I'll start with you.
Trading Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown coming into his own feet. Jaylen
like
Brown,
that.
This year, he had some fight and some dog and I'm yakking on dudes all. It didn't look like he was timid this year. He was ready to play all year. And you saw that with the Eastern Conference MVP, and you could have argued who was MVP of the finals, but he got it too. So that was a big key right there. Stepping up.
I love that.
Time.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. Steve, what you got?
You know what? I would have taken what Kiefer just said. I mean, that was my big one, Marcus Smart leaving. I had an argument with somebody on Twitter earlier about that. But I'll go with Drew Holiday. I think Drew Holiday coming in. The only question I had going into the season was their depth. Looking at the bench, I mean, it was Pritchard, Horford, and Hauser. So I was a little iffy about that. And obviously they ended up doing what they were doing. But I think it was Drew Holiday. I think having him come in and him being the person that Marcus Smart was, but with a more level head, with a championship pedigree, already have done it, had it done. I think that signing was it. I think that was the one that finally said, all right, like this is something serious.
Yep, absolutely. And I definitely agree with that point about the bench. I thought that was part of the reason why I picked the Mavs. I was a little iffy about the Boston bench not being as strong as the Mavs bench, but it turned out to be the complete opposite. So that worked out for you guys. Eli, what you got?
I love both their answers, but for me, you're only as good as your best player. And the disrespect towards Jason Tatum this season, Jason Tatum is a monster. In 19 games in the playoffs, I think he had 14 double-doubles or triple-doubles. When Porzingis went down, he's rebounding over 10 rebounds a game. He's scoring 20-plus. People want him to be Steph Curry, and he shot 28% from three. That's not his game. He's the most well-rounded player on this team. Jaylen Brown emerged as a true superstar in this league, and since the All-Star break, Jaylen Brown was probably the best player on the Celtics. But Jason Tatum is going to get a monster deal, well-deserved, and that's the reason they won a title. Is this kid is 26 years old, and he's coming to his own.
Absolutely. And he could have easily won Finals MVP. A lot of people want to look at the numbers as far as field goal percentage, but when you look at the whole thing, like
Yeah.
the rest of the paper, there's other numbers on that paper, and the rest of the numbers said that he had a great finals. He rebounded the ball, he assisted the ball, he did everything else that he needed to do. He didn't score 30 every night. He had some bad nights, but that's regular. But everything else, he made sure he filled the stat sheet up. So you got to give him credit for that.
I mean, the guy shot 43% from the field. He was 25, 10, and 6 for the playoffs. Like those are great numbers. But this kid, he gets shit on like you wouldn't believe. People talk about him, in such a negative light. You want this guy in your team. He's an unselfish superstar. There was just times where he realized, I'm not shooting well. And he went from past postseasons that we've seen in Boston to where he wanted to play iso ball to realizing I need to move the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great point.
You think Joe Mazzulla had a lot to do with that, though?
Joe Mazzulla is my guy right now. He's the number one coach.
That's exactly where I was actually going to go. My key was Joe Mazzulla. And I gotta give him major credit because when I watched that Boston team, they look like an actual basketball team, not just a bunch of superstars on the team playing iso ball and just give it to the best player and figure it out. No, they moved the ball. There was at least 5 passes before the ball even bounced. Before it even bounced. I love watching basketball. They look like a college team because that's how college basketball is played. Team ball. You move the ball around and find the best shot. That's how Boston looked, and that's how you got to still play basketball. Like people think you got to get away from that, but that goes to coaching, and that starts with Joe. And he made them play defense on top of that, which they already had the defense, but they added Drew, they added Porzingis, which adds more defense, and now you got to make them focus on defense on top of their offense. Like it's lights out. So shout out to Joe Mazzulla. He deserves major credit. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm hearing that he's going to get a big extension coming up soon.
Yeah, I've heard.
Without a doubt. I think the only people actually, there's only 5 guys not under contract for next year right now, and it's Tillman, Cornette, Davidson, Peterson, and Mihailik. I don't know how to say his last name. I don't want to butcher it. I mean, this is a team that's coming back, and you have a coach that they all love and respect, and it works for them. So he should get a deal, and this is a young team. They're going to – I hate for the rest of the NBA fans that are out there watching this, they're not going anywhere.
Not going to lie. It kind of deflated me as a Knicks fan. Like, shit. We got to deal with them again next year? God damn. Like, I was hoping that the Mavericks kind of, like, tore you guys apart, even though I knew that wasn't going to happen. But I was hoping just to make me give hope for next year. But, God. We're going to have to get a superstar or something. We're going to have to do something crazy. But let's not talk about the Knicks. I'm sorry. My next question is, which is a big topic right now, is obviously we all know that Jaylen Brown won Finals MVP. A lot of people said Jason Tatum could have won Finals MVP. What are your thoughts on that as Boston fans? Eli, we'll start with you.
I love Jaylen Brown. I've been really high on Jaylen Brown since the All-Star break. I'm fine with whoever got it. I liked it even more when they gave him the trophy, and he said this one was us. He immediately goes to Jason Tatum. Those guys are a cohesive unit. Tatum could have won, but Brown was completely deserving of it as well. And to see that kid go from getting booed on draft night to winning Finals MVP, he's a monster contributor off the field, too, in everything he does. Off the court, I should say, sorry. And then on the court, he's a supremely talented kid. Absolutely deserved it.
Yeah, no, I love that. The Beard, what you got?
So I wanted Brown to win it. You look at Tatum. He led the whole team in almost every statistical category throughout the whole playoffs. He could have easily won it, too, but it was good to see Brown get it just because the focus was always on Tatum before. Now it's on the both of them. When he got that trophy, he looked at Tatum and said, "This isn't mine. We did this."
Right. And I love that.
What that team sphere is about, that right there is, it wasn't me, it was us. And that
Absolutely.
all right, I'm down with him getting it, man. He deserves it.
Absolutely. Steve, what you got?
Yeah, I love how that Brown got it. I mean, believe me, I thought Tatum was going to steal it in Game 5. I thought in the closeout. I mean, if you look at Tatum's stats, he had 9 assists at halftime.
Yeah.
And on those passes, his team was 9 for 11. So I mean, like the way he was distributing, it was his players were in position to score. Like everything he was doing, I'm like, I think Tatum's going to steal it. But the reason I wanted Brown to get it because the defense, the one thing that nobody ever talks about, and I don't know if you saw some of the clips, but he said something to Joe Mazzulla and Sam Cassell because they were going to take him out for a rest, and he said, "Hey, he's like, I'm not coming out if Luka doesn't go out. That's the only time I'll sit." He wanted him full court.
that.
I mean, he was denying the ball. Like he wanted that, and to be able to have the energy to do what he did on the offensive end, considering he wanted the best player on the other team. For me, it was Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, absolutely.
He definitely said that too. He said something about Joe Mazzulla. He was like, "Yo, Luka wants this. He's gonna have to drive it down my throat because I let him get nowhere."
I love that.
Woo!
You gotta love a guy like that on your team. Like
Jaylen Brown.
Contagious.
Jaylen Brown's I mean, he could have fit on that 08 team, that Mbutu team,
Yes.
right? I am because we are. He immediately gets that finals MVP, and his first thought is, this is us. You know what I mean? So I just think Jaylen Brown is, I mean, he is everything Boston Celtics.
He absolutely is. And I agree with all of you guys. Jaylen Brown. I wanted him to get it if it was anybody on Boston. I wanted it to be him because I felt like he deserved it. He's been playing crazy throughout the playoffs, consistent. And like you said, the defense, a lot of people don't talk about that. He's not only doing what he's doing on offense, but he's guarding the best player, not only on the court, but one of the best players in the league. So that's a tough task. And he's doing it day in and day out. And he wants to do it. He's not complaining. He's just going right at it. Hey, if he gets a bucket, hey, it is what it is. I'll get him next time. Like, you got to love that attitude. I would love a guy like Jaylen Brown on my team. So definitely shout out to those guys. My next question for you guys is, starting next year, going into the future, you guys, we already spoke about a little bit about the guys that you guys already got signed for the foreseeable future. What are your thoughts going into next year? I know it's really early. We don't know what free agency and things like that look like, but we're hearing a few rumors and things like that. Lakers just signed JJ Redick. Not a big deal, but it's just something. What are your thoughts on the Celtics going next year? And before we start, my good friend Angel, big time Celtics fan, long time Celtics fan. And he says Brown earned it. Tatum could have won it, but we'll win Finals MVP next year. It's okay.
That's our
I
guy.
think they all agree with you. Absolutely. So, Steve, what you got for us?
So the only question that I have right now, to be honest with you, is Porzingis. I mean, he's already said that he's got to have surgery on that leg. So, I mean, the guy, he's 7'2", 7'3", whatever he's listed at. He's got a history of injuries. So that'll be one question that I have. Al Horford, he's saying he wants to come back, so he's going to be, 38 going into next season. So the big position is going to be something that you're going to have to be concerned with either way. Outside of that, I mean, we know Derek White still has 1 year on his contract, so that's just an extension thing they have to work out. Obviously, JB, JT, Drew is signed. Like I obviously, especially in the East, I don't see. You could have a couple moves. Giannis is going to be healthy. Milwaukee's going to be okay. There's a couple things. Embiid is another one, but it's still the East. So I'm wondering, I think they'll be okay next year. And I like how they know how to win now. That's a whole nother thing that's added to it, is they've done it before. So I hope that's a positive thing in the future as well. So I feel pretty good about it.
Love that. The Beard, what you got for us?
And I'm feeling pretty good. I'm waiting to see what Brad Stevens does going into next year. That's the key to this whole thing, is what can he do to help us if KP is going to be out area time going into next season. And the magic he's already worked makes me just think that he's waiting for something to pop up, prizes again. So I'm excited for next year. We're to win the finals anyway. So
absolutely, no, that's a good point. Brad Stevens, yeah, I think that was a great move for them to do, to bring him upstairs and get somebody else to do the job. So that was a great job. It worked out for them. Steve, Eli, Sorry.
I guess these guys, they said they feel pretty good, so they must have had a slice of humble pie before they came on. They are primed for a repeat. This is a team who's losing guys who got no playoff minutes pretty much. Porzingis missing the early part of the season is not a big deal for the Celtics. That's when you want him to miss part of the season after the surgery. You have Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Peyton Pritchard off the bench, Drew Holiday. You have all these guys coming back. And, I don't care what anybody says. Oh, it was an easy finals run. It wasn't the bubble. Sorry, Lakers. It's not my fault that
Shots fired.
constructed a roster that was better than everyone else. We lost the start too. We just had to overcome it. They are the favorites. If they don't repeat next year, it's a failure.
Okay. Pressure's on. Pressure's on. What do you guys feel about that? Do you guys have to win the championship next year?
Oh. I'll let you go, Steve. Steve, I'll let you go.
Should they be the favorites? 100%. But the thing that I'll say to Eli is the one thing that I got to remember is what are the chances that Jimmy Butler's down next year? What are the chances that Donovan Mitchell's down next year? What are the chances that Giannis is down next year? What are the chances Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle? Like, there were so many injuries. Tyrese Halliburton getting hurt at the end of the series. Like, there were so many injuries. Like, there's going to be a little more pushback than there was this year. That's the only thing I'm saying. Will it be enough to knock them off? It shouldn't be. Now that they know how to do it, they've done it, and they have the experience, it shouldn't be. But there might be a little more pushback. And again, I mean, injuries are a huge part of the game.
Well, I feel the same way about it because, there's rumors of Jimmy Butler going to Philly to play with Embiid.
Oh, again?
Again. No, it's popping up again. You don't know what's going to happen. You're definitely going to see Milwaukee show a little bit more than they have. And we talked about this, them losing Holiday. Let's see what happens with them next year. I'm not saying we're not winning the finals. We are going to win the finals. It's just not going to be
good.
It's not going to be as easy as it looked as it was this year.
Right. I definitely hear that. And you guys forgot one team, my Knicks. Come on. My Knicks. Come on. Don't forget my Knicks.
Brunson, the Brunson thing, you guys losing Brunson really hurt you guys this year, man.
Yeah. That hurt us a lot. We had a lot of injuries. But honestly, I've been hearing a lot of good things going into free agency, or the off season, I should say. Outside of probably losing a few guys, but there's a lot of guys that are interested because of the season that we had. So I'm positive going into the off season. My boy Angel, he's got something else. Plus, this isn't like a Suns situation. We actually have draft picks like crazy, so I think we'll be fine.
Brad Stevens.
Very true.
Brad Stevens.
Smart man.
Getting draft picks.
How's them for KP with 2 firsts with 2?
Ridiculous how you got that done. Even with everyone healthy in the East, I don't see anyone beating this team in a 7-game series. It's going to be tough. I'm not going to lie. It's after what I just seen. And I got to give her credit. Shout out to my girl, Nat GM on Twitter. You guys got to check her out. She called it. When she first said it, I was looking at her like, she was like, they're going to win in 5. Most. And she said it with such confidence. I'm like, did you just see what the Mavs just did to all these other teams? Like, I don't know if it's going to be that easy. And boy, was she right. So we have a podcast on Monday. She's going to eat me alive. Oh God, it's going to be horrible. It's going to be horrible. But I got to give credit when credit's due. I was wrong. So It is what it is. Now we're going to get into my favorite part of the show, Jonesing for Smoke. So for anybody, even myself included, because I definitely talked a little smack. I can't lie. I'm a man of my word. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It is what it is. But for anybody that was out there talking smack, whether it be fans, someone on Twitter, analysts, anybody that you felt was just completely wrong about the Celtics that you want to talk about, please give them that smoke. Steve, we're going to start with you. Give them that smoke, please.
I mean, there are so many out there. I mean, you could start with everybody at the desk of ESPN picking Dallas. This is no question. It's Dallas. No doubt whatsoever. It's Dallas. Then you can move on to the Twitter stuff. And the Twitter stuff is the most ridiculous stuff because people went from Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown suck. They're terrible. They're horrible players. To all of a sudden, well, they only won because the Celtics are a super team. Well, if they suck, how is it a super team, first of all? Second of all, the Celtics only had one All-NBA player, so it's tough to say they're a super team if they only have one. Just so many people wanted to just reverse, and they're trying to move the goalpost to try to switch it up. And look, they won. No matter who they had to go through, no matter how it went down, the injuries sucked, but they happened. The Celtics didn't do it to them. It just happened. They won. Get over it. You're going to be okay. Maybe your team will get it next year. Maybe you don't even have a team. Or maybe you're a bandwagon fan. You're just going to jump to another team. You might be a Celtics fan next year. Who knows? Just accept it and move on. Come on. Everything's already started. We had a trade today. You had Caruso, traded for another guy I won't mention. Like, things are happening. Just enjoy the offseason. And I can't wait until they raise that banner. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Jeez, that was some good smoke right there. That was some real good smoke. Hope y'all heard that, y'all, because I'm definitely going to post that if y'all did it. I'm going to make sure I clip that, and we're going to get that out there. But, fellas, my co-host, the Boston Boys Sports, Steve.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
Beer,
What's up, dude?
and Eli.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Take it, because that's the only time you'll get it.
You see the jersey he got back there.
Not even just that. Not even just that. I'm a Yankee fan, so I'm supposed to hate you guys.
No, that's all right, man. You guys, listen, I can't hate on the Yankees right now, man.
Hey, you kicked ass last weekend. You can have that too.
It was a good week.
Over in his grave right now because
It's a good week.
Oh my God.
Wait, listen.
Oh my God.
And then we went in 24. Those were both Kobe's numbers, bro.
Yeah. That, when I looked at that, I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Let me tell you something. JJ Redick, you better get this shit right this next season. We cannot have them up. You cannot have them one up on us for too long.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well,
Very
listen,
true.
maybe I will say this. It's the smoke hour, right? So maybe if you guys win a couple more, you'll be at 18 because you're really at 12 right now, right? Those other 5 in Minnesota don't count.
Celebrating in a different city.
I heard 16 earlier because of the bubble, but
So if you want to take that, you got 5 in Minnesota and 1 in the bubble.
I love it. Bring the smoke. This is your time. I love it.
hey, they on top. They get to talk.
They on
shit.
top. We can't say shit. Can't say shit. This is your platform to talk as much shit as you want to any and everybody. The beer. Steve, you got any more? Eli, you got any more smoke?
I got a little more smoke since I went at the Lakers. My guy E over here, my guy Jones. Next year, when we play the Knicks, you guys have a guy that used to be on our team, right? Isaiah Thomas, otherwise known as Jalen Brunson. Oh boy, he ain't gonna stay healthy for much longer. He ain't Allen Iverson. He's Isaiah Thomas, and I've seen that one before. So. For all the Miami fans who show up at halftime, we're the champions, not you. You can stop living. We can stop living rent free in your heads. For all the Indiana fans, go back to your cornfields. You ain't winning anytime soon because every player there is about to leave for a big contract. Siakam just stuck around. That's good. Got worked. All right. Cleveland, you're in Ohio. Nothing. That doesn't matter. You guys will be nothing in a few years too. We don't have to worry about this. Miami, Cleveland, and Indiana, that's our run. Milwaukee, Dame better learn defense, okay? Because if he doesn't, he's going to get ate up by Drew Holiday too.
Yep. So true. Woo! Bang, 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 bang. He's just letting them. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. The beard, what you got for us? What smoke? Who won?
So I'm from Lynn, Mass, right? So you got all these people in Lynn that ain't Celtics fans, man. They ain't Celtics fans. They talk all this shit on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram about the Celtics, and then I see it was like my boy Danny, huge Celtics fan, comes out right on Facebook. Y'all are gonna regret talking shit. Y'all are gonna regret it. You gotta watch them win in 5. He called them winning in 5. And then they come and say, you want to talk shit? You want to be from Boston and not be a Boston fan? Like, get the hell out of here, bro.
They don't like
out of here.
Go sit on the corner, drink another 40 if that's what you want to do. I don't care. Get out.
Exactly.
Celtics where it's at. Dynasty is coming, boys. Dynasty is coming.
See, that one thing that I wouldn't understand, like a lot of people live in different states like me. Like I'm a Cowboys fan, even though I live in New York. The reason why I'm a Cowboys fan because I grew up. My dad was a big Cowboys fan, all that, whatever. But I wouldn't understand not being a Boston fan of any team living in Boston as much as you guys went. Like that to me is like, why go outside the state when you've got all the rings right here? Like,
because
you know they're coming sometime, whether
like,
it's MLB, NHL, it doesn't matter. It's gonna come in one of these sports.
For us growing in New York, like I know our time growing up was the only team that was winning was the Yankees.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
so it's like that's why Laker fan. I'm a Laker fan because of Kobe.
Yeah.
Like the first basketball game I watched with my father was like an all-star game. And it was like, I think it was Kobe's first one, and he was just talking about him. He's like, oh, this young rookie kid, whatever. He's talking shit about him. And I just liked him. Same way, football, I'm a Denver Bronco fan. First game I ever watched was the Super Bowl. They won. They beat the Packers.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, like we didn't grow up with winning football, winning basketball.
Right. Exactly. So
I
we
just
had to go
woke
outside.
up like
I don't tell them.
I didn't have a thing. Like I didn't have an option. For me, it was Boston all the way, just 'cause my grandparents and the way they were, my parents how they were. Like there wasn't another team. I didn't look at anybody else until like when KG was drafted in Minnesota. I didn't become a Minnesota fan, but I was obsessed with KG.
Right.
Like as a kid, I was obsessed with the Seattle Supersonics, Gary Payton and Sean Kemp. Like there were players that I watched, but I never became a fan of the team. I was always it's Boston and there's nothing else. It does, like I mean, my parents would have probably disowned me if there was anybody else. It was always Boston.
I was a Patriot fan when Drew Bledsoe was slinging it around and not winning Super Bowls and getting waxed. And then you grew up with the aura around you. You don't want to walk out of it. You can like players on other teams. That's all.
Right. Absolutely.
Of course.
But when you have that core of a Boston fan, you feel it when you go to Fenway. You feel it when you go to Garden. You feel it when you're at a Patriots game. You can just feel the love. That's why Kyrie hates playing in Boston.
Yeah.
Sheesh,
what?
Oh, I was going to say,
ahead.
I can tell you, being a Boston fan, I was at the last Sunday night football game at the old Foxborough Stadium. And I mean, I grew up loving Drew Bledsoe's still my favorite Patriot quarterback of all time. I was in the stands screaming, Brady sucks, put in Bledsoe. I was addicted to losing, man. You know what I mean? The Red Sox lost, the Patriots lost, the Celtics lost, the Bruins. Everyone lost when we were kids, and you were addicted to falling in love with losers, and that's all we did. Like, there's kids that were born in 1995 that they don't know what losing is. You know?
Right. Exactly. That. Oh man, I wish.
My kids,
I wish.
My kids, he's just now starting to understand why the Patriots suck.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's that part. The kids now know that they don't know what Patriot winning is.
Exactly. My boy Angel put Celtics Instagram we keep receipts and posted all the analysts that picked the Mavs. Yeah, as
I
they
saw
should.
that.
Troll as much as possible. They should.
Yep.
They should troll as much as possible. So that's what they deserve. If you want to, especially Stephen A. Stephen A. is just the worst. But
we don't claim him as a New Yorker. We don't claim him as a New Yorker
at all. He is not on our side. He is not on our side. Ja Rule too. Don't ever touch a Knicks jacket ever again. Don't you ever do that again.
Now, let me ask. Can we ask you guys a question?
Absolutely.
Our guy E, he's a Kobe fan. He's a Laker fan because of Kobe. We've had this debate on our podcast. We'd love you guys to come on too. Where do you rank Kobe all-time great?
All right. Like with bias and stuff, because I'm not going to say he's the greatest of all time. No. But for me, when I rank my top 5, I don't like including the guys I didn't get to see play, like the Kareems and stuff like that. Okay. Like I seen Jordan a little bit when I was younger, because my father was a big Jordan fan, so Jordan was always thrown, he's the greatest, he's the greatest. I have Kobe in my top 5.
See, I got Kobe too.
He's my two.
Yes.
He's,
Like I don't
it's Jordan Kobe.
like
for me.
it's hard for me to put that order, but like yeah, I would say top 5, top 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like however you want to arrange the Jordan, LeBron, Kobe's with them.
Yeah, I got Kobe. Me and Steve talk about this all the time. Kobe's too, because he played defense too.
Yes.
He
don't get the credit for the defense he played.
No, he was
Nah, he doesn't.
fantastic. As a Celtic fan, there was no one I hated more than Jordan and Kobe. As a Celtic fan, Kobe would make these ridiculous shots, and as a kid, I'd be like, "No fucking way!" And it goes in every time, and you're like,
Seriously.
you know,
Kobe's got that Jordan aura. Like, it's different. Kobe's got that Jordan feel. LeBron doesn't have that. Jordan's got that killer instinct, that Mamba mentality. Like, Kobe had that. I don't feel that with LeBron. Like, he gets his because of the talent, the size, the body, the frame. Like that's what. But Kobe and Jordan for me are just they were different. They were different. They would do anything. They would run their mother over for a title.
I totally agree. Like, I mean, if you watch that Redeem Team doc, he's gonna run through Gasol like that.
Yeah,
that was
like
that
LeBron
was
and Melo are like, no, you're not. That's your teammate. Like you just won a championship with him. And what does he do? He ran through him.
Yeah,
like
right to his chest.
He was in it for that gold in that Redeem Team.
Yeah, like. I was just listening to Carmelo's podcast, and he even said it that Coach K, when they're getting ready for that Olympics, Coach K was talking a lot about JJ Redick, and Kobe ended up saying, "I can't stand JJ Redick," so they brought him in, and he was like fouling him, running through him, locking him up, like denying him the ball. They say he just took everything personal.
Yeah.
That's funny considering today you get signed as a Lakers coach.
Coach.
So, since we're talking about it, what are your thoughts on
I called it
your
all
new head
along.
coach?
I called it all along. I've been saying it from the start that they were going to hire him. Even with the Dan Hurley name coming up, I figured like they were always going to end up with JJ Redick.
Yeah. So what are you?
There was too many signs pointing to that. Like I said earlier, do I think from hearing him talk about the game, I think he's a great basketball mind. But I think the only way for him to succeed is they have to get some great assistants with him.
Yeah, they're already talking about getting Rondo.
He's trying to build it.
Yeah, they're trying to build an elite coaching staff to help him.
Yeah, but
as they should.
At the same time, you're going to have 40-year-old LeBron, and they're talking about moving AD to Chicago for Levine and DeRozan.
I don't want that.
You know what I mean? And let's say, did you see Bill Simmons today?
Zero defense.
Yeah, well, Bill Simmons put out today.
And Levine's going to miss half the season anyway.
Yeah, well, Bill Simmons put out today that the Celtics should draft Bronny James and then hold him hostage. I mean, whoever drafts Bronny, right? LeBron's going to want to go there. He wants to play with his son. So
I said that to you guys though. That Bronny, that they were talking about the Mavs drafting Bronny, so LeBron went there and left the Lakers.
Yeah, there's a lot of names going out there, a lot of teams going out there. But I also heard that it's not.
Yeah, it came out. Rich Paul said that he's not like big on it as he was.
Yeah, at first he was a lot bigger on it.
You want to know who I definitely think they end up with?
Let's hear it.
DP3.
You can have him.
And I'm not happy about it. I already see it. I see the writing on the wall. I'm like, yep.
I thought you were going to say Paul George.
Yeah. Oh man, CP3. How you can get as many losses as you want with CP3?
I don't want them.
You want to guarantee no title?
Yeah, exactly.
They might as well start him at the half of the season.
Yeah,
don't even start him at the beginning of the season. He's not going to make it.
They're going to push him down the court in a wheelchair.
I hate CP3.
I love it. Any other thoughts or comments that you guys have on your Celtics or in basketball in general?
The state of the NBA is in a really good spot right now. The young talent in this league is I don't think we've seen this in a long time. Like, this is really good for basketball. And it's really good for the Celtics too, because they're a young team. I mean, honestly, you've got so many young stars on this team. And the East there's talent in the East, but the Celtics aren't going anywhere for a long time.
Absolutely. And E, we didn't get your thoughts on Boston winning. What are your thoughts on Boston winning? Being the Laker fan that you are, how does this feel? You seeing all this green in front of you?
Oh no, it sucks that they won up on us. Like, of course. But I think I said it. I don't know if I said it here on the Spaces. Boston was the better team.
Yeah.
The better overall team. Like, the role players stepped up. Their star players stepped up. You know, they weren't crying and complaining to the refs. I did tell you I didn't want Luka to win a ring.
You did. You definitely said that.
I am a Duke fan, so I'm happy for Tatum.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this: Luka's the best player on the planet right now. The problem is, Kyrie
Got to play a little bit of defense.
Well, if you play defense, but even still, I mean, he is so good. But Kyrie was invisible in 3 games. You're never gonna win if your second best player is invisible.
And I just think Tatum has to get some more credit for being how mature he was and stepping aside and letting JB be the man and win that MVP and realize, yo, he's the one who's killing it. He's the one carrying us. Let him do his thing. Tatum still did his numbers quietly.
Yep.
You know,
he did his thing.
The biggest piece, Drew Holiday, he's a beast.
Yeah.
He like that. That was the move that won you guys that championship.
Yeah.
Huge.
Listen, if Luke played defense like he did Game 4 the whole series, you might be talking about a 7-game series.
You know, even if he played, because he had that little spurt in the Clippers series where he was defending Kawhi or PG and actually was playing pretty good defense. They showed his numbers. Like, when he was the primary defender, their numbers were a lot, worse than it was with other guys. I don't know where it went.
Yeah, I think it had something to do with his usage rate was going up and down throughout the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, the fact that nobody else nobody offensively helped him in the finals.
Oh, that's the other thing that Boston did just so great at. They made Luka play defense. Even though we just spoke about how good he played at times, making him play defense was the smartest thing they could have done because it tires his legs on offense. So he can't be as efficient. He was shooting horrible from 3. He couldn't shoot from 3 at all. You know why? Because his legs was tired.
Yeah.
Couldn't get to it. Legs was tired.
The whole playoffs, though, they shot less threes than every playoff team in the entire NBA.
Mm-hmm.
They were driving. They were shooting 2. They were shooting mid-range. They didn't shoot 3 at all. So when they went into the finals, they tried throwing up the 3s. Come on, man. You got to get on a hot streak for that shit, man.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't just come out of nowhere and start shooting and yakking up 3s like it's going to be it's just going to go in. No, that's not how it works.
Especially against the best shooting 3 team in the league, which was Boston. Like, Boston's going to win that. You're not beating them at what they do best.
And with Boston especially, it's the timely 3s that they make.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's the people that can do it. It's everybody. I mean, you're talking all 5 starters plus, you have, like I said, Hauser, Pritchard, Wolford coming off the bench if all 5 starters are healthy. Every single person on the floor can shoot. You got a guy that's 7'3" that can shoot from 3. You know what I mean? So there's nobody's a weakness out there.
I mean, me personally, when this series was going to start and we were talking about it, you look at that Mavs roster, and I like Lively. Lively's a really good young player.
Yes.
But past Doncic and Irving, that team's pedestrian, man. Doncic and Irving they're borderline superhuman, what you see them do all playoffs to get past some really tough Western Conference teams. But, you had P.J. Washington, like Derek Jones, Daniel Gafford. These guys can't compete with the Celtics. Like, the Celtics had too many horses.
Absolutely.
No, I said Celtics in 7, and I said it because I thought Luka could steal 2 games by himself.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest with you. Luka's the best player in the NBA right now. Kyrie Irving is the best ball handler and the best finisher at the hoop that I've ever seen in my life. Absolutely. So I'm not going to say ever because I haven't seen every single player play. I'm not that old. But I'm gonna say, you know what? Fuck it, ever. Like he is the greatest ball handler ever. He's the best finisher at the rim up.
Yeah,
That's
nah,
I mean,
right.
this dude hits angles off the glass that I've never seen in my life. I mean, so yeah, I thought that two of them could steal at least two, and then another game maybe here or there in Dallas they could have lost. So that's why I said 7. But I mean, believe me, I'm happy I was wrong. I'll take 5 all day. But I saw it going a little different, to be honest with you.
No, I agree. I thought this was going to be a tough series. I really thought the Mavs would give Boston some work. Not really because of the talent that Boston didn't really get to see throughout the playoffs, but I thought and the amount of rest, I thought they would come in rusty coming into this because they didn't have, as much playing time as the Dallas Mavericks did.
Yeah.
So I was like, they'll probably come out rusty game 1 or 2, so, but like you guys said, they just proved everybody that had any doubts, even you guys, wrong.
I just think like, especially we all especially got caught up in like how good Dallas was playing, and honestly too, the comp that they was beating on their way to the finals compared to what the Celtics beat. Like, like I said, they said it perfect. You can't control who gets hurt. You got to play who's in front of you anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
but
true.
like you seeing Dallas take out OKC, you're like, oh, they were good, Then they take out Minnesota, who took out Denver. You're like, oh, wait a minute,
Yeah.
Dallas
Best
might go
defense in
win
the
this
league.
thing. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's just like what they showed up is like, all right, we know who the best team in the league was.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
exactly.
a lot of times it's the team who gets hot right at the right moment. I mean, and you see it in every sport. The New York Giants, who toppled the undefeated Patriots, they were hot at the right time. Jonathan Quick in the NHL, he became the hottest goalie for an 8th-seeded Kings team, and they win a Stanley Cup. So you watch this Dallas team just start rolling, and you're like, uh-oh, this team might be a buzzsaw. That's just they're on a roll.
Yep.
They hit a hot streak and hit their stride. And, unfortunately for them and the Dallas fans, my heart breaks for you. Boston was just better.
Does your heart really break?
I've managed to mend it, but yeah, no. Listen, that team is one star away, I think, from being elite themselves. You bring one big man to that Dallas team, and they're a real problem.
This Dallas team, and I'm shocked that I actually didn't realize it before the series started, but after I realized, this Dallas team is a lot like that 22 Boston team that had a great run going through the playoffs, made it to the finals, and then went up against a more experienced Warriors team.
Yeah.
And you guys were young, first time getting there for those young guys. Now Dallas is doing the same thing outside of Kyrie and Jason Kidd. None of those guys have been to the finals, so they were new, and Boston had been there and done that. So that's what it seems. It looked like. It turned out like experience won over. Those guys been there, done that.
Yeah. I have 2 things. The first thing I want to say is 2000. First of all, thank you for having us. But so
Absolutely.
2016, I flew down to Tampa to watch the NBA draft with my cousin, and I always shout him out because in 2016 he said to me when they picked Jaylen Brown, if he develops a consistent jump shot, he's Tracy McGrady. I think he's better than Tracy McGrady. But he hit the nail on the head. And the second thing I want to say is, Steve, you were too tame in Jones and for Smoke. I want you to go at Miami like you go at Miami for real, because every time
he's holding smoke.
Every time we do our podcast, I always introduce him as X's biggest agitator and Miami's villain. So, Steve, I need you to go at Miami with the same vigor that I know you can.
Well, I reserve 2 words for Miami fans. It's delusional and fraud. Those are the 2 that I hold for that fan base. It's always there. I don't know how many times. If you go to my profile, you go to the profile of our Twitter and you search either of those 2 words, there'll be a million. You'll have some time. Just scroll. What are you sitting on the toilet? Whatever you're doing, you'll have time to scroll, right?
Yeah.
They're just. I mean. They don't know what they're talking about. They have no clue. They just run their mouths like about absolute nonsense. They think Jimmy Butler. I had somebody yesterday. It was something about because Jimmy Butler's going to be 35 to start next season or something like that. So he made a comment about his age. He's old, blah, 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 whatever. So their response was like, well, Al Horford's 37, so I guess we shouldn't give him any credit. I said, Al Horford's the 6th guy on our team. Jimmy Butler, a 35-year-old, to be your 1. Like, that's a difference.
Exactly.
What are you going to make fun of the Celtics for having Blake Griffin on the bench last year? Like, who cares? That means nothing. That's not our number 1 guy. That guy was chilling. Like, so it's just they don't. And then the whole, like, they can't get to their games. And that's my favorite argument on it, because they talk about, yo, you don't understand the traffic there. No, I do, because, like, I've lived in Boston. I've lived on Cape Cod. I understand traffic. You know what I did when I knew there was traffic? I left early. I just hit the road 20 minutes earlier. I can get to where I'm going. If
especially the way, I've been to Miami.
Man.
They drive pretty fast out there, so there shouldn't be that much traffic.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Boston,
we know they drive crazy out there.
Boston's a mess. It's number 1. It ranked number 1 in traffic in 2023. And I can tell you what, if the game's at 7, TD Garden is packed by 6, okay? And everybody's there and they're already drunk and they're ready to go. But Miami fans are apparently just sitting on the highway playing on their phones.
Let me tell you.
But in reality, they're at home. Let's be real.
I have to drive in and out of Boston daily. We are in the land of a 2-lane highway still. Our highway is 2 lanes. I mean, it is out of control that you think that Miami has worse traffic. I was just in Miami like 2 months ago. I got everywhere. I walked everywhere faster than I can get places in Boston.
Yep, absolutely. You were definitely right. He was definitely holding some smoke in there. He was definitely holding smoke. But I'm glad you let it all out. But I also want to say I agree. Yeah, you got to let that out. You got to get that out. It's not good for your body. It's not good.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, because I went into this season saying the same thing. Why is everybody so hyped about Miami? Okay, they got to the finals last year. They got lucky. Yeah, okay, they got it there in the bubble. Everybody wants to call the bubble a fluke anyway, so don't count that shit then. If you want to call it a fluke, then don't count them getting there. Sorry, I just have to say it, because it's got to make sense on all sides.
They got an in-season tournament.
Yes. The
Hey,
first ever.
There you go.
First ever. Hey, at least at least you can call it that.
This year. Isn't that beautiful? That's beautiful.
Yeah.
But no,
They got 17 and a half.
There you go.
0.5.
12 and a half.
17.5. I like it.
LA's got 12 and a half. Sorry.
Yeah.
Minneapolis has 5 of those.
You guys are in a race with the Clippers, not the Celtics, man.
I'm not worried about that. Never be worried about the little brother.
Oh yeah, we're
never worried about little brother.
Yeah.
Thank God they got up out of the arena.
They should leave LA. Why? Just go somewhere else.
Yeah, go. Find another spot in California. Go to San Diego. Yeah, that's nice.
And bring the Chargers with you.
Yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love it, guys. Anything else before we sign off? I'm definitely going to make sure we shout out your social medias. But anything other sports related that you guys want to say?
To topple on to what Steve said, this will be my last thought. The difference between Jimmy Butler and Al Horford for all you Miami fans is the NBA championship ring as well, just so you know.
Flex on them. Flex on them.
Love it.
Steve, any last comments?
No, just going to live this up, enjoy this, the parade's tomorrow, and just, go
it's going to
Celtics.
be madness out there.
Oh,
It'll
it's
be
going to be
great.
crazy.
I'm not a Patriots fan by any means. I actually hated them for the longest time. But one of my best friends is a Patriots fan, and we went to 2 Patriots parades.
Oh my
First
God!
one,
you treasonous person.
2 of them. I
dare
did it for content, honestly. It was for content, but I had a good time. I'm not gonna lie. We got drunk as shit, but it was dope. The first time it was in the goddamn snow and rain and ice. And it was freezing my ass off. That one I didn't enjoy that one that much. But the second one, when I believe you guys came back from down 28-3 or whatever it was.
Ooh.
That's when I started to change my attitude towards Tom Brady. I wasn't big on Tom Brady. But after that, I was like, I gotta shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he is.
I gotta shut the fuck up. He's the GOAT. Like I could. It was over after that. So, but yeah, no, Boston. You guys enjoy yourself. Please be safe out there. Have fun. Enjoy this shit. Because right after this shit's over, you guys know the hate's coming right back for you guys. It's coming right back. The target's on your back. It's coming for
That's
you guys.
all right. We're ready.
Ready for it.
Just
13
flash your ring.
championships
That's
this
all.
season.
Exactly. Just flash your ring. But make sure you guys go follow the Boston Boys on social media. Let them know where they can find you guys.
Steve,
Yep, it's at Hub Boy Sports, both on Twitter and on YouTube. And yeah, come find us. I mean, tell us what you think. Comment, let us know. Give us ideas for videos, whatever you guys got going on. Let us know.
Yes.
like,
sir.
subscribe, and comment all you hate because we love the content. I want to say from all of us, Jones, E, thank you for having us on. Love to do it again.
Thank you for joining. Thank you for coming up.
Good luck.
Thank you guys.
Later, boys.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We appreciate you guys. And we'll definitely have you guys on again. And we'll definitely be on your show for sure. We can't wait for that. Looking forward to that. And enjoy the parade, guys. Enjoy. Boston, enjoy. Enjoy, because you're not going to hear me say this again after today.
I'll give you one better. I'm not even going to say congrats, Boston. I'm going to say congrats, Celtics fans. All right?
Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
Think to say
Congrats,
congrats to Boston.
This is your boy, Jones. This is Jones for Sports. We make sports better. Peace.
Later, boys.
Later, boys.
Later, guys.